Epic Games has announced a $100 million eSports pool for 2018-2019 for Fortnite competitions. It's incredible. It's Fortnite, the game that has become a phenomenon. It's amazing. First, I'm going to take you through a little bit of history of Epic Games and People Can Fly, the Polish game studio that partnered on it, as we look at the 7 years that led up from the announcement to finally the release that's happened for Fortnite. Second, we're going to take you through some of the competitive elements that are happening out there and phenomenal statistics. And third, where are they going? Let's dive in. Epic Games, fantastic game studio known for Gears of War and some other things, based in Cary, North Carolina, which is right around Research Triangle Park there, where you've got Duke, University of North Carolina. So there's a lot of great talent there, and apparently there's a lot of gamers there. So Epic Games is the developer of Fortnite, along with People Can Fly, with Epic Games being the publisher, the one that actually publishes it, puts it out, works with the platforms and what have you. So Epic is building Gears of War, and they get some ideas and some thoughts. And they see a combination of Left 4 Dead and Minecraft. If they had a baby, what would it look like? And so they conceived Fortnite. You know, for those of you not familiar with it, let me step back and tell you a little bit about the two modes that are in Fortnite. And those of you who are game players are going to say, oh, you're leaving this out, leaving that out. This is a basic thing for people who may not be familiar with Fortnite, but are interested in the case study about the phenomena of Fortnite. Fortnite basically has two modes: Save the World and Battle Royale. Save the World is a co-op. It means it's a cooperative. You can have up to 4 players on your team. Could be you and 4 friends locally, or could you and 3 people you select that are connected in the game right now and you agree to be a team. Or it could be you and 3 AI compatriots that you put with you. It follows a storyline, and there are different waves of enemies that come up, these cartoonists-like zombies that you have to wipe out as you're going around the world trying to search and save survivors. Because the premise is like 98% of the world's population has been wiped out, you have survived, and you have to save the world and go find the survivors, and you're going to face waves of these enemies called husks that again are these cartoonist zombie creatures. Along the way, you have build modes where you scavenge for armor and you build little defenses, a little base for yourself, and then you flip over into combat mode where you go out and now start defeating things. That is Save the World. It's progressive and it follows a storyline. Battle Royale is a deathmatch. You drop into an island, you have to scavenge for armor and things on the fly, and it's persistent and it just keeps going. And the island over time starts shrinking, which forces people, think of that as the arena, and it forces all the players into the middle because it's a fight to the death. And you have to scavenge for things, and it's last man standing. This is perfect for esports tournaments. So those are the two modes in summary, and you can Google and find deep information on those two game modes, because I'm leaving a lot out because it's phenomenal the nuance that's in the gameplay dynamics of those two modes. But nonetheless, for those of you that don't know about Fortnite, that's the way it works. And in 2011, there was this little kind of ad, kind of promo that went out at the Spike Video Game Awards, and everybody was like, wow, that's really cool. That's 2011. Today, it's 2018. So we're now going to walk through the 7 years when everybody first heard about Fortnite and understood a little bit about what it would be, and they're chatting up about how they had influence from Left 4 Dead or Minecraft and where it went. So they start development on Fortnite. And as it proceeds, they make a next announcement in 2012 at Comic-Con. Now, they were going to make a little bit more announcement to kind of back up that leak that they intentionally put out at the Video Game Awards at E3 in Los Angeles. But then they thought, no, let's move that off. Let's not talk about it at our booth and everything at E3. Let's go ahead and release it down at Comic-Con. Because video games are extending far beyond E3. Esports competitions and tournaments and stuff that we know now. It says there are things that have been happening. And video games is huge entertainment. Many of you that play video games already know that, but for those of you that are watching that aren't as familiar with the video games industry, you would be shocked at the dollars, creativity, and technology that's in video games. It's leading us in so many segments, and things that happen in video games, such as bullet view, then show up in movies that we see, and when FX is input into the movies that we watch. So the announcement's made at Comic-Con that it will be PC only, and it will be on the Unreal 4 engine. Now, engines are very important to games. gamers. They listen and they survey the landscape and they know what these engines do. And gamers get very excited when they know a new version of an engine that's very popular, that puts out very dynamic, strong gameplay and great physics, great renderings, all the things that come with a wonderful, great engine, multiplayer dynamics. They are watched. And so they said, hey, you know, Fortnite's going to be on the Unreal 4 engine. Now, there were two things about that. What that basically meant that from Epic's standpoint, and People Can Fly, they're going to be building Fortnite on the Unreal 4 engine that's coming after the Unreal 3 engine. So Fortnite is not only being developed as a new title, it's actually the test bed to keep building and adding things to Unreal 4 engine. Why is that important? Because the Unreal engines are available to other game studios to use and then pay a royalty on whatever games are ultimately published by those studios. In other words, I build this engine to make my great game. My intellectual property is the engine and all the dynamics and gameplay and things that go with the title that I published. But then I take the engine, I make it available to other people. Similar way that those of you that follow the kind of the PC industry historically understand how Java and all the JSRs that kept added to Java, people would do those and kind of add it to almost an open source catalog of utilities and advancement features to help programmers go even further tomorrow than they are today. Likewise here, except unlike Java, these engines have royalties that go back to Epic Games if someone uses the Unreal Engine to do it. There. With the table set, now you understand. We're building Fortnite as a new title, but at the same time, Fortnite effectively is the test bed for Unreal 4. So that is some of the stretch in the development calendar that affected Fortnite. Along that same time, Tencent invested in Epic Games and took about a 40% share. Now, why is that? Right here. Games as a service. They saw games as a service becoming large. Epic saw games as a service emerging and knew that Fortnite was going to be game as a service, and that's Tencent's wheelhouse, is games as a service. So it was a good marriage of Tencent bringing capital to Epic Games, owning 40%, and having a lot of experience with games as a service. So Tencent's there. Well, now that you got somebody inside, it also led to a little bit of restructuring, and certain key executives, left and decided to do other things because the presence of Tencent leads to other governance and things that are happening at the board level, strategic input and things. So there was a little bit that was unsettling there, but they got the crowd together and herded their cats and went on forward into the future. But nonetheless, that also had an impact on what would become like a 7-year development cycle for Fortnite. We then proceed forward to 2014. By 2014, there was 90 developers working on Fortnite. This is a significant effort. Additionally, Unreal was then named, through the calculations and the assessments of the industry by people that know these things, the most successful engine ever. And Fortnite would now show up on the cover of Game Informer. That's huge because that is the Bible of the industry. And now we're 3 years into it, but as we look back, it would be 4 years until here we are 2018 before things really take off. So nonetheless, there is a lot of hype that was following Fortnite in these development cycles. As we move past that, now we finally get to alphas. Alpha is where we're able to get a group of people together so that we can see gameplay coming to life in a real world and track not only bugs, but look at dynamics that are happening among the players. At MAX, Worldwide Development Conference for 2015, there was an announcement about its readiness. And they did a closed alpha December of 14 to early 15, as well as a test in April. And there were 50,000 people already that got pulled into those alphas. So there was a big stack of information and learnings that were coming from the player realities, how things were truly unfolding. And a couple things that were in the game at that time get pulled back, other things get amplified as it comes forward. Also, Epic Games wasn't just about building Fortnite, they launched Paragon. So Paragon launches at this time. So they're building Fortnite, they're establishing the Unreal 4 engine, and they're launching Paragon. So it was busy times at Epic Games. And within a year, they say, hey, we're 100% dedicated to Paragon. We're continuing to develop Fortnite. And so statements like that led people to believe, wow, this is a really busy project. And boy, we're coming up on 6 years since that leak at the Spike Video Game Awards about what Fortnite would become. Well, we get to middle of 2017, and meanwhile, PlayerUnknown's Battleground is tearing up Twitch and Steam. So we're seeing games as a service and a lot of things that are happening out there, and we're seeing gaming and esports now at this point are absolutely taking off, which was good omens for what was going to happen with Fortnite. Paid early access was declared at a time where they were trying to figure out release dates and how they were going to do it, and they said, we're just going to do it paid early access. So let me talk about paid early access. Paid early access in the video game industry is very interesting. It's a way where you actually fund some development, because to get early access, people pay usually around $40. In this case, I believe it was $39.95, and you could get paid early access to Fortnite, which meant that you can get the game and you're in early access. Similar to the alpha, they're grabbing a lot of data off of the gameplay dynamic and adjusting the game, looking for flaws in the gameplay, looking for flaws in the technology stack, and looking for enhancements that need to be made. Because now they're seeing how real players are integrating their experiences in multiple sessions. As the player keeps learning, as they play and play and play and play, they adapt themselves into the game, and the dynamics often are changed, such as engines that were put in place that if a player was having a tough time against certain, defeating certain of these kind of cartoonist zombie-like creatures that were in the Save the World version, they said the AI would give them slightly less difficult creatures on the next round, so it gave them a little bit more enjoyment out of the game, and likewise the AI would make it more difficult. So there's a lot of things that happen in paid early access and everything. You start adjusting and optimizing what would be the experience in the ultimate release. So at paid early access, it's very interesting. This is the views on YouTube. And this is a very important indicator, because things like YouTube and Machinima, where people post the videos of their gameplay experiences, and when you go back to Call of Duty and all these games, people would say they're going to show their best fragging episode and best kill shot and best victory sequence, or just hot sequences, and those end up on YouTube, Machinima, as everybody's out there. These are basically brag reels for the game players. And as you can see, the blue line is Fortnite, the green line is Minecraft. Minecraft is out there, 4.5 billion, going up to 6 billion in September of 2017, at just right about the time that paid early access comes out. So you see there's a little bit going on with Fortnite with some of the views from some of these alphas, and then paid early access that happened in July right there. Well then, all of a sudden, things take off with Fortnite, paid early access, and it's very interesting. This tracks, 0 to 1 billion views. This little chart doesn't track, it presents, sorry. And it took Minecraft 2 years before there was 1 billion views per month of Minecraft brag reels or clips that were put together by users on YouTube. PlayerUnknown's Battleground, it took 8 months to get to 1 billion a month. It took Fortnite only 3 months to get to 1 billion a month. And right here, as we're in May of 2018 as I do this case study, but in March of 2018, Fortnite passed Minecraft, and something very interesting happened. This tweet from YouTube's director of VR gaming, Ryan Wyatt. How big is Fortnite on YouTube? Fortnite holds the record for the most videos related to a video game uploaded in a single month ever. Yesterday, Battle Royale tournament had over 42 million live views and set a record for the biggest single live gaming stream at 1.1 million concurrent viewers. Amazing stuff. When you take a look at how quickly Fortnite took off, and that sort of recognition from YouTube of what's going on, and you see how fast Fortnite is moving, there's only one word for that, and that is damn. This thing is on a rocket sled. driving forward. People like Drake were showing up actually playing it. And a week ago, David Price is a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, Major League Baseball. He gets paid a lot of money, millions and millions of dollars, to make 30 or so starts a year in baseball. And he comes in and he says, you know, I got carpal tunnel, I got like this. And the team is like, oh my gosh, you're one of the highest paid people in baseball and you're hurt. What's going on? Yeah, man, I was playing Fortnite till 4 a.m. And they're like, wait, what? You're playing Fortnite till 4 a.m.? Time out. You're playing those video games? Well, guess what? Today's players, 25 to 28 years old, they grew up in what we're experiencing now is this emerging golden age of video games. Many of them are core gamers, so they play a lot. And now you're seeing the impact of gameplay actually coming over to Major League Baseball, who is like, okay, no Fortnite in the clubhouse. Let's take game consoles out of the clubhouse. You guys need to be in good shape to play. I don't need a pitcher that depends on his hand coming in here going, oh, I got carpal tunnel because I was playing Fortnite. But it just shows you how big of a phenomena culturally this is becoming, crossing over. The mobile version of Fortnite, additionally, they included a message which says, please don't play Fortnite in class, which is funny because I was talking to the Biz Doc babe, which is my wife, and she teaches school for special children here in Dallas, Texas. And she said when she mentioned that I was doing the case study on Fortnite, they even lit up and they're, wow, we play Fortnite, and they actually had phones and stuff, and she had to tell them, well, wait a minute, you can't be sneaking playing this, we're here for school. And so it is everywhere, it's a cultural phenomenon, and in certain ways, we're needing to put the brakes on just how addicted we become to this. So as all of this is happening right here, in the background, Paragon, that they had said they were completely dedicated to, guess what? It became Paragon. In January of this year, ba-boom. They canceled the game. They said, we're shutting it down and we're going to give full refunds. How can a game studio afford to do that? Simple. This is a screaming hit with an opportunity to be the biggest game of all time. It's double down time. Bet on your hits. All developers on deck, and we're just not going to focus on this. It's not that this wasn't doing well. It was. It's just we're focusing and pushing on this. And on top of all that, a day ago, Epic Games announces $100 million in eSports prize pools that will be spread over 2018 to 2019 for competitions and tournaments in Fortnite. It's bigger than the eSports top 10 tournaments combined, and it's 4 times bigger than Valve's Defense of the Ancients. And by the way, what do we know is happening in 2024? You see those esports tournaments from Madison Square Garden and other places, thousands of people coming in, playing for big money. The Olympics, 2024, esports could be coming to the Olympics, and I think it's going to get there. So that's the story of Fortnite. And Epic Games, who, when it all started, you know, we're looking at 2 to 3 year game development cycles, and they're realizing that that really is too short, that these cycles need to be extended to really do it right. But who knew that it would be 7 years with some of the drama following the investment by Tencent and the things that went on with that. And I think it's going to be the biggest game of all time. That's this week's case study. And remember, Valuetainment is on a mission to get to 1 million subscribers. And when we do, it's the first annual Valuetainment Entrepreneur Conference featuring Patrick Bet-David, yours truly, the Biz Doc, and others as we bring you information, education, and case studies to make you better, your company better, and the people around you better. Until next time, I'm Tom Ellsworth, the Biz Doc, and I hope I left you better than I found you. Don't get sore playing Fortnite.